Catus Maximus here, reviewing a promotional product. This is an endoscope, high resolution endoscope, 5 megapixel. It's a twin camera, so 5 megapixel at the end, and an additional 1080p 2 megapixel out the side, which is just fine. It actually comes in a pretty decent case, although they did mismark it as they have one which is both cameras are 5 megapixel, but I'm not complaining about getting one that has one 5 and one 2 megapixel. They are rating it at IP67 for the camera end, so it can go down in the water. Comes in a pretty decent case, was well packaged, plenty of plastic wrapping over everything. Although the one comment I'll mention here is that this is a plastic screen, and so you would want to get like a U-cut. Places like Best Buy sell screen protector material that you put on, and then you can just use a razor cut around the edge. This thing works great. Has a really nice heavy-duty fitting. Would have liked to see some kind of cap. This is a cap I provided to help protect the end of it. You do have to be careful with these because as you're undoing the snake, particularly this one, because for the 130 bucks, I think this thing is well worth it. Comes with a 10-foot snake, but it's pretty easy to whack the camera on like concrete. And I've seen ones at like pawn shops that are all beat up, broken with a little piece of glass. Come on, camera. Is broken because they've been whacked. So this this is a threaded collar. As we can see, it unscrews here, so it adds a little bit of extra protection. And we have 8 little LEDs there, and of course our side camera, which is the big deal. They have one that also has a third camera at 45 degrees, but I thought this is more than good enough. That is just super innovative to be able to look out the front or be able to look out the side. We do have 2 accessories. Milled aluminum. We have a little hook and a little neodymium magnet. So those are pretty much the 2 accessories that you need. And what's kind of nice about having the side camera is when you put on like the magnet, it ends up blocking the end of the tip camera, but you can at least kind of still navigate looking out the side. I got this, or took it as a promotional product. When I take these promo products, I don't really like to shill stuff. It's really when somebody offers me something that I could personally use or really like. I've been using this Harbor Freight one, the old pendant style, which is still, in my opinion, the best one ever at Harbor Freight. I even have a second heavy-duty camera, or heavy-duty snake for it, only 3 feet long, but it's lower resolution and it was getting kind of old. So the DepsTech was being higher resolution than the 640 by 480 of this one, and having a really long snake. And something else I was going to mention is this has an IPS, standing for in-plane switching. What it is, the big deal about the screen and this DepsTech being IPS is it doesn't change like tone. Anyway, let's get these connected. This has a really sturdy connector, really nice, pretty good ergonomics here with even a little thumb catch. Although I once again would like to see a boot for the display unit. It is a keyed plug, so you just twist until it fits in place. And we'll do a little comparison here between and this one. Turn it on. So the screen on this is it's just really good. If we take a look at this circuit board here, you can see that it's just pretty. I mean, the resolution is unbeatable. We can read that little chip there. And even the side camera, where you just press this button and you get the side camera. And the same deal, even at 1080p, the side camera it's still great. You can barely tell the difference. The big deal about the IPS screen, let me get over an area that's kind of detailed here. Pull back. So even if I tilt the screen a lot, like this, or like this, you don't have to be looking straight on to have a good viewing angle on it. If we do the same kind of viewing on the Harbor Freight here, we can definitely see how the screen just isn't as good. It's not anywhere near as dynamic. That's what's really surprising is, and this one's worked out just fine for me for a really long time, and even adjusting the brightness doesn't really make much of a difference. But the big deal is like when you left and right, it's not too bad, but when you start seeing how If you have the pendant off, see how the color just totally disappeared, almost inverts. Makes it really hard to see unless you're looking same thing this way, but particularly bad this way. It makes it kind of hard to see. And if we get close, it does just get kind of washed out. The camera makes it look even a little bit worse than it is. The resolution's okay, but it isn't like super sharp. The color isn't super great. And this thing has worked out great for me. It's actually lasted a long time, mainly because it has a physical cutoff power switch. When I had the opportunity to get an upgrade, I said, why not? Do another side by comparison. That's the deal about these modern ones. And really for 130 bucks, it's actually just a pretty surprising, especially since this comes with a 32 micro SD card. Runs for about 4 hours continuous. Once again, dual cameras, 10-foot snake. But you can just see, I mean, it's obvious the dynamics, just how much better resolution that you have across. Come on. This cable is kind of stiff, but just really much better resolution on the screen, much better color. It just makes it more convenient and easier to use. And then, of course, the same goes the side camera. It may be not quite as good, but still way better than that Harbor Freight. Way more detail, and get right in that chip, and even almost read the tiny numbers on it. Great high resolution screen, and just being able to switch back and forth. I guess the only real suggestion is if they had some kind of split screens so you could display both cameras at the same time. Other than that, there's not a lot else to say about this except for, and I thought it was kind of interesting, is it has a built-in light. And I thought, well, what on earth what would you need the built-in light for? A cool little feature. So besides that, not a lot else to say besides that there is, come on camera, it is a little piece of glass over the cameras. So if they get dirty, you can clean them pretty easily. Those aren't going to get too bent up. A 9mm, I think it's about 9.5 right at the collar here, but smaller than 10mm. You can basically shove it in through a 3/8 hole. So pretty small head diameter, really can get into a lot of places, and it's just really innovative having a camera at the end and on the side, and the fact that even these budget inspection cameras just have such good image quality now, and such high resolution. That's all you need. You could even save I think it's just $100 to get the same unit that just has two 1080p or 2 megapixel cameras instead of the 5 megapixel in the end camera. Even has a little reset button. Once again, micro SD, USB-C recharging. Not a lot else to say about this unit besides, for the price, I actually think some of these products like this aren't too bad. This Harbor Freight that I got a few years ago, actually probably like 4 or 5 years ago now, was more expensive than that. This was like $150, and this thing absolutely shames it in image quality and resolution and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of surprising just how times have changed. And now for the same or even less money, you just get this is an example of technology upgrading over time. Just way more resolution, way more quality. And then for people who want to have a long snake, having a 10-foot long snake will certainly will get you down and to the bottom of most walls. It'll get you pretty far in the heating ducts and just all sorts of places where you may use this. You can also use it in automotive situations and maintenance and that type of stuff. And it may get a little unwieldy working with the having a 10-foot snake. And that's kind of what I'm going to keep this Harbor Freight one around for, just because it just has a small, real super easy to flex shorter snake, which is really convenient in a lot of situations. But I think this DepsTech is actually, you're getting just what you pay for. I think for $130 and free shipping and the memory card and the high res and the IPS screen, it's kind of hard to argue with. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.